Hi everyone. Today we're going to continue with our slope and practicing how to find slope. Yesterday I just gave you equations and I had you rewrite them in slope-intercept form. And today we're going to have to actually find the y-intercept so that we can write equations in slope-intercept form. But before we do that, I just want to go over your brain starter. Your brain starter is a review of yesterday's assignment. So we start off with an equation in standard form. Remember, it's in standard form if it has no fractions and the x and y are on the same side. That is what makes standard form. Whereas slope-intercept form is where you solve for y. So standard form, no fractions, x and y on the same side. Slope-intercept form, you solve for y and you can look at it and see your slope and your y-intercept. So what we do is we start to isolate everything. We want to solve for y. That's how we get it from standard to slope-intercept. So we're going to subtract 11x from both sides. That leaves us with a negative 4y down here equals negative 11x plus 32. And remember from yesterday that I purposely put the negative 11x in front because I want it to mimic slope-intercept form. I want that x as my first term. All right, so now we're going to divide everything by the negative 4 because the y is being multiplied by negative 4, so we're going to divide everything by negative 4. This leaves us over here with a y, which is what we wanted. And then here, the two negatives cancel, and we get 11 over 4x. Remember, we always want to just leave that as a fraction. Doesn't matter if it's improper or proper, you just want to leave it. And then the 32 divided by negative 4 is negative 8. So that becomes a minus 8. And our answer is y equal 11/4 x minus 8. Remember, 11 over 4 is our slope. Negative 8 is our y-intercept. All right, so that was a review of yesterday. We will have a quiz on Friday, so make sure that you're keeping up with us. All right. So this next example, I've written a lot of steps for us that you're then going to use on example 2 and on everything that you do on your work time. I just thought it might be helpful because it's been a while since you've done this, but we're going to rewrite, and I corrected this on your paper, but I printed my copy before I noticed that I had written a different form. I don't want you to write these in standard form. I just want to practice them in slope-intercept form since that's what we've been trying to get to. So we're going to write an equation in slope-intercept form, and it's all I'm giving you is a point and the slope. Well, in slope-intercept form, you need to know the slope and the y-intercept, which is why it's called slope-intercept form. But I don't know the y-intercept. I know an x and y random point on that line, and I know my slope. So the first thing I have to remember is that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Then I need to take the x, y, and m that I do know, and I need to plug them into that equation to find b. But then finally, we never want to put this x and y in there because remember, a line has infinite numbers of x's and y's on that line. The only thing that stays consistent for a line is the slope-intercept the slope and the y-intercept. So we definitely want our final answer where we only use the numbers for m and b. We always want to leave x and y in the answer as the letters. All right, so let's start that. So those are the directions, and now we're going to do exactly what this says. So I told you to remember the form was y equals mx plus b, so I write that first. Then I told you to plug in the x, y, and m. So y is 2 equals m, which is 2, times x, which is negative 1, plus b. And then I said you have to solve for b. So 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. It's with b. It's a negative, so I'm going to add 2 to both sides, and I get b equal 4. Now what? Well, now I know my slope, and I know my y-intercept, so I can rewrite the final answer using slope and y-intercept. So y equal slope, which is 2, x plus y-intercept, which is 4. So y equal 2x plus 4 is the final answer. Again, we don't put our x and y's in because those are only one x and y. Those are only representing one x and y point. It is not representing all of them. All right, one more example, just to make sure that you've got this. All right, so hopefully you have paused it and you wrote down all those steps. I might lower this just a little bit so we can see them at first, and then I'll scooch it up. All right, so first of all, we have this point, 3, 5, that's my x and my y. And we have a slope, that's my m of 5/3. So we're going to use those steps from example 1. And step 1 said, remember the form is y equal mx plus b. So I wrote that down. Then plug in x, y, and m and solve for b. So y was 5 equal m, which was 5/3, times x, which was 3, plus b. And we're going to solve for b. Remember, 3 is 3 over 1. And so the 3 on top and the 3 on bottom cross cancel, they reduce. And so we're left with 5 equal, after those cancel, you have 5 over 1, which is 5, plus b. Now we're going to subtract that 5 from both sides. And look at that. My goodness, we get 0 equal b. That's unusual, right? We usually get a number there. So now we go to our final step where it said use only m and b as numbers. So we go back to that original form, y equal mx plus b, y equal m, 5/3, x plus b, which is 0. Well, we all know that we don't have to write plus 0. Plus 0 doesn't, it's not adding anything. So there's no real point in writing it. You can write it and you won't get it wrong, but it looks better if you just leave it off because there's no point in it being there. So y equal 5/3 x. All right, I hope that helped. Make sure that you use these examples to help you get through those problems today. And then tomorrow we're going to extend it a little bit farther. And Friday you will have a quiz on the topics we're covering for just this week. And next week we move into expedition. So have a great day and I'll see you in my video tomorrow. Bye-bye.